Hello everyone, Ember here, and welcome back to a new video. In this one, I'd like to take a look at some new grass decks from Stellar Crown. So originally this was just supposed to be a Hydrapple video, but I quickly found that most Hydrapple decks kind of just overlap really. There's not masses of variation. I will cover one or two variants in this video, but I just thought it'd be more productive to cover multiple grass decks from Stellar Crown. But yeah, there's some new cards to take a look at here if you've not seen these before. There is this new Noctowl, which says, when you play this Pokemon from your hand to evolve one of your Pokemon during a turn, if you have any Terra Pokemon in play, you may search your deck for up to 2 trainer cards, reveal them, put them into your hand, which is a disgusting ability, to say the least. Very, very strong. We also have this new Stadium Area 0 Underdepths, which says, if a player has a Terra Pokemon in play, that player can have 8 Pokemon on their bench, but you do need a Terra Pokemon, so, Ogrepon is definitely a good choice here. And then, of course, the big man himself, Hydrapple EX, which not only has some pretty good energy acceleration / heal, but the attack Syrup Storm can be quite devastating, doing 30 damage and then 30 more of each grass energy attached to all your Pokemon in play. And when you get several Ogrepons out and you start ramping a bunch of energy, then yeah, this does stack up quite nicely. Also got this new item card, Glass Trumpet, which says you can only play this card if you have a Terra Pokemon in play, and you choose up to 2 of your benched colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them. And this has a fantastic synergy with Wyrdeer V, which we'll talk more about shortly when we get to it. But yeah, so the first list is this Hydrapple deck, and it is kind of just like a streamlined Hydrapple Ogrepon deck. There's also a single prize Ogrepon in the left corner down there, along with Venusaur EX. Personally, I quite like this list overall. It's fairly straightforward. There's nothing too crazy going on, like the one-off festival just below Briar is an interesting choice, to say the least. Like, I don't think you really need festival in this deck, even if you are running a 1 Diplin, for the festival ability and the attack do the wave. But honestly, aside from that, I don't think you really need that spicy option. I mean, you can play it if you want to. It is fun, but aside from that, nothing too crazy in this list, nothing too wild. Everything that you'd expect to see. 3 rare candy, 4 bug catcher set, 4 ultra ball, 4 nest ball. As for the items in the bottom corner there, if you can't see them, it's Earthen Vessel, Night Stretcher, Super Rod, and Superior Energy Retrieval. So yeah, some pretty nice options. Also playing the Great Tree A-Spec, which is an interesting choice. Personally, I would still say like Prime Capture is a much better choice, or even Maximum Belt actually, just to kind of catch your opponent off guard when they don't think you have enough energy in play. But either way, it's an interesting list. It's definitely one that I would like to try at some point because I do believe in Hydrapple to some extent. But at the same time, it's like, well, things might go wrong. You might not get started. You do need to get the energy into play as well. But when you have 2 Pokemon that are both accelerating energy, it seems like it could be really strong when it gets going. But yeah, that is Hydrapple EX. Next up is we have the Ogrepon Wyrdeer combo with Glass Trumpet, and it's fantastic because it just means that if you have an Ogrepon in play, you can attach a basic grass energy from your discard pile to your Wyrdeer. So that's nice. Also does it for 2, by the way, so get a lot of energy in play. And then Wyrdeer, when it moves from the bench to the active spot, can basically just take all the energy and swing for big, big damage. So kind of a crazy combo there. There's also got this Poltergeist in here, which can do up to 210 damage from grass energy, but you will have to discard energy in order to use it. So a nice single prize option, but it's just there as a bit of like a trump card, I guess. Like just a random single prize option that can swing hard, but it is a 1/1 line, so don't expecting this to be used very often. Honestly, the most interesting thing about this list to me is the 4 judge. Like, that's like, we've got 2 research, 3 boss, no other supporters, 4 judge. I'm not sure why judge specifically. Maybe it's to like try and find the items a bit quicker because this is supposed to be a turbo deck. You will want to find stuff like Area Zero, though I don't think it's integral to this list to make it work. But still some nice options here. You've got Squawk ability to go fast, Mew rather, I should say, to maintain that consistency really throughout the game. Also like Pheasantipity, because your Pokemon are fairly fragile, to be honest. But that's, a bit of an issue with Ogrepon in general, is just how fragile they are. But aside from that, yeah, the 4 judges, it's interesting. I would definitely like to try this out at some point again, but it's just one of those lists where I can definitely see things going either really well for you or really wrong. And I'm not sure like what the ratio to that is really. So yeah, have to see if this actually makes an imprint on the meta. But yeah, it's interesting though. Next up is we have more of a meme deck really, but this is I thought this was fun and is worth sharing. But yeah, this is a fortress deck, so that is indeed the fortress that KOs itself and then takes energy from the deck. A very fun combo with Dusknoir. So you're essentially just forcing your opponent to take prizes, and then you also have the Noctowl to remain consistent, and then Wu Qian and Bloodmoon Ursula are kind of like your late game attackers. So it's a fun deck, I'll admit that. I think it's really fun. I'm not really sure if giving your opponent all those prize cards is such a good idea, even with, Dusclops being as good as it is, but yeah, it's a fun combo, right? I love that Hyper Roma can find, all your stage ones. I love that. But aside from that synergy, it is a high risk, high reward kind of deck. Also, that tool card that some people might not recognize, the one that's in between Countercatcher and Forest Sealed Stone, that increases the retreat cost of both active Pokemon by 1 colors. So might just help a bit for stalling and such. But yeah, it's an interesting list. I think it would take a while to master this one, but yeah, it's a high risk, high reward, shall we say, with Fortress always. But yeah, interesting list though. Next up though is we have my personal favorite in this video, and I think this deck is going to be terrible. Like, just FYI, I'm going to straight up be honest with you. I think this deck might be terrible, but it is very funny. It's playing the new Joltik, which allows you to ramp up to 2 grass energy and up to 2 lightning energy from your deck to one of your Pokemon. Well, your Pokemon any way you like, I think it is, which is very nice because Venusaur, 2 grass and a colorless, very expensive, disgustingly high attack cost for only doing 150. But yeah, Venusaur needs some support. I don't think Joltik is what Venusaur needed, but hey, the new A-Spec tree is good for this. It's a nice combo, but at the end of the day, I don't think this deck is particularly impressive. We do have the new supporter Crispin as well next to Arvin there, which will allow you to accelerate one of the 2 different basic energies from your deck while also searching for the other one to put into your hand, which is nice. So you can accelerate any leftover lightning energy or grass energy. But, aside from that, I do think this will be a bit of a meme deck, at least until it gets going. It's one of these decks that just like, it either gets going or it doesn't, and you fall behind and lose, I think. It is kind of like a high risk, high reward. Not as much as the one we just looked at, but I still think Venusaur is it's a bit too sluggish for this format, really. But we'll have to see. Maybe Venusaur. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Venusaur will be competitive, but yeah, honestly, I don't think it will be. But we'll see. Then we have a Hydrapple Ogrepon list. This one is very straightforward to the point where it's not playing any Diplin, which it's a bit alarming actually. I would still make room for Diplins, to be honest, and maybe even some stadiums, because this deck is not playing any stadiums. In fact, a third of this deck is energy, which is kind of crazy. 21 basic grass energy. Maybe a bit too much. This deck is definitely closer to a meme deck than anything. It's even got stuff like Scoop Up Cyclone just to kind of deny your opponent some prizes. But aside from that, this is a very straightforward, easy to play deck. Only needing two lines to complete it, should give you a clue as to how straightforward this is. If I was to add anything to this, I would maybe add like a Pheasantipity or something. But yeah, it's an interesting list. I'm not sure why the one of Ultra Ball. Like, why are you even playing one Ultra Ball at that point? Just remove it and play a third Pokegear. But it's a funny meme deck. It would be a lot of fun to try this out. But yeah, it's also playing 3 Applin. Actually, the more I look at it, the worse it gets. But yeah, we can move on from that one. It's a funny one though. But yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know if there's anything particular from Stellar Crown you'd like me to cover. Unfortunately, I think I am permanently locked out of TCG Live due to bugs or whatever. I don't know at this point. I'm just kind of like dazed out a bit. I'm more in the GLC / Star Wars Unlimited mindset moving forward. But yeah, thank you for watching though, and hopefully this has been helpful or entertaining to someone at least. So, thank you for watching, and as always, yeah, hope to see you next time. And yeah, thank you for watching.